independent than he was before the meeting. You know what? That's untrue. It's untrue if you actually listen to what he said. Maybe you have to get some Q-tips. Maybe you have a problem with close listening. Powell's saying that inflation is more subdued, yet he still needs to raise interest rates. That's not data dependence. It's data indifference. Powell's saying that those of us who are worried about a cooling economy should recognize that employment is very strong. He's saying that people like me who are very concerned about job losses caused by Fed-induced slowdowns in housing, construction, oil and gas, manufacturing, freight, autos, paper, chemicals, Christmas retail sales, apparently don't know what we're doing. He's saying his homework is better than mine. Sorry, got the grades today. They're called the averages. Man, oh man, are they ever cascading. If Powell were right, this incredibly oversold market would have at least bounced higher. Look, I sincerely hope that he is right. I'm not rooting against you. I would love it if this economy is doing much better than I believe. But sadly, I think Powell's the one who's wrong, and his apologists, they must have no sense or empathy for what's about to happen to the working person in this country. Know that. President Trump picked a man who turned out to be very independent Federal Reserve chairman. Now, that is terrific for the institution of the Federal Reserve. It's not so terrific for the economy. And the president is really right to worry about a possible recession next year. He's spot on. President's spot on. Because as I see it, Powell's pretty much saying that he may need to take rates higher to slow down hiring. Hiring slowdown could lead to a recession pretty easily. Hey, you know what? If I were running Trump's reelection campaign, you know what? Jay Powell would be my worst nightmare. He's a doctrinaire, old-school inflation hawk who's as confident in the economy as he was back at the beginning of October, but he's now mindful that others think differently, not him. That's what changed. There's some real cosmic irony in the fact that if President Trump had simply kept Janet Yellen in place as Fed chief, she'd be taking a much less aggressive approach here, given the data. I believe Yellen would have said that it's time for the Fed to pause. Pause because of all the cross currents that Powell mentioned. And when you consider the more subdued inflation, including the total collapse of oil prices, it won't hurt to wait and see. Powell says that he sees moderating growth in the future, so let's tighten 2 more times, not 3 more times. I know Yellen won't criticize her successor. That's not in her DNA. But I think she would have been a lot more prudent and a lot less reckless with these plans. Reckless. Oh, and newsflash, Powell may not sound reckless. He may sound reasoned. Oh, does he look the part? Yeah. But the only people who should be really happy about his statements are the rich. Their wealth will be preserved. If you work for a living, you're finally getting a raise after a lost decade of wage growth. Powell wants to put a stop to that. I think that's his goal. Again, yay, the rich don't have to worry. Don't have to worry about a slowdown. Because you know why? You only need to get rich once. But the not so rich, sorry. In Jay Powell's dogmatic world, you're making too much money as it is. Now, here's what stocks would typically do for the next few days. On day 1 of this new leg, all stocks go lower. On day 2, the stocks that do better in a recession start to rally, as long as the yield on the benchmark 10-year Treasury has plummeted to 2.7%, signaling a severe slowdown. I like Clorox, I like PepsiCo, I like Procter & Gamble, I like utilities. Day 3, the classic growth technology stocks rally, the ones that don't need a strong economy to grow their earnings, because Jay Powell just assured us because he was so darn bullish about the global growth at the beginning of October, he couldn't say the obvious, that he was too optimistic, and now he needs to be more concerned about the downside than the upside, even as employment remains strong. The result is bad news for both the economy and the stock market. Oh, and for you. Sorry, my friends, but that's really all there is to it. Let's go to Mark in Ohio. Mark.